gentlemen, welcome to this week's very special episode of the Wrist Locks and Long Talks podcast. My name is Jamie and I'm joined by my gorgeous guest co-host, Lauren. Hello, Lauren.
Hey, I'm back.
Yay! You got the terrible twosome again. Yay. So it's a special episode today purely because what we are going to do is we are going to discuss the upcoming TNT Ignition and Extreme event that is happening on the 31st of May. So I thought rather than getting a guest on and, hello, cat. we have Danhausen. Rather than obviously doing a normal podcast that I normally would do, I thought, why not do a podcast all about a company that we both work for and, just get all the info out there so everybody knows what's going on and obviously can come if they like the sound of the event. I'm just going to move my cat. There we go. Things never change, do they, Lauren?
Nope, never.
It's almost professional. We try. Never mind. Anyway, so as you know, I am the worst person in the world to actually plan things. So the lovely Lauren has gotten all of the information down that we need because she's incredible and I'm useless. So yay!
I worryingly have a strange insight into the boss of TNT's brain, and I somehow understand him in a way that genuinely scares me sometimes. So decoding all of his random messages and following his trail of logic through Instagram of what he's posted when was interesting. But yeah, I have scrolled through all of Instagram. I've got all the matches down. I have spoken to some of our wonderful TNT fan base, got some of their predictions, and we also have the wonderful Wrestle Snaps, does polls occasionally on the TNT fan group. So I've got the results of them of who the fan base think are going to win a couple of the matches. So we can see what mine and Jamie's opinions are compared to some of them. And then, yeah, we're probably all going to be wrong because TNT is TNT and it always...
Yeah, nothing ever happens. Oh, the cat is well on everything. Oh, no. Right, come here.
There's a curveball or two when we get to TNT.
There is, and it's... Yeah, it never happens the way you expect. Let's take Comic-Con, for example. We'll have a quick chat about Comic-Con because obviously we were both there. And...
Yeah, talking of surprises... How'd you end up announcing the main event with 3 minutes notice?
But you smashed it, like full on smashed it. But you even included your own little rule in the match.
What was that?
You did the introduction great, and then you went, and this match will be contested under the Comic-Con rules. I was like, yes, Lauren. This is not.
To be fair, that was a request from Sam Bailey and James Greenwood because they knew absolutely nothing was going to follow normal wrestling rules.
Yeah. I
mean, we'd already seen James Greenwood refereeing in a bright blue wig on the Saturday, so...
We did. That, do you know what? I genuinely want that on a canvas in my house. Like, that that image is just incredible. It really is. That very few things I remember from Comic-Con. That is one of the main memories I have from Comic-Con.
To be fair, I'm going to do my usual try and be professional here, and I'm going to use that as a segue into one of the first matches, because my most memorable moment from Comic-Con, other than announcing Sam Bailey versus AJ Sky, which, sorry, AJ Sky looks absolutely incredible, was having to tear apart two people who I thought I liked them both. And we saw a very different side to Lewis Johnson at Comic-Con. We've seen for a while that he's been a little bit, I don't know whether he's got a chip on his shoulder, but it turned out that it was him that had been stalking the staff and attacked our beloved Tony Wright.
Yeah.
But to turn on Liam Carr.
Yes.
Now, they've been friends for, I think, like 17 years. And for anyone who wasn't at Comic-Con, so we're going to have to backtrack a little bit. WrestleBox we had Liam Carr versus Lewis Johnson, which we were all really excited for. Was scheduled to be a fantastic match. They're both incredible wrestlers. And at the Ignition Rumble in January, Liam Carr unfortunately took a tumble out the ring and hurt his knee quite severely. And Lewis Johnson, being the delightful friend that he is, decided to target that knee, which obviously Liam took exception to and asked him for the match on May the 31st. We tried to do a contract signing for that. Why we tried to do that, I have no idea.
Yeah, they never
and we ended up having to tear apart these two. We had multiple ring crew ended up bleeding. One ended up unconscious, I think. I know you jumped in the ring to try and look after him. I was trying to get Liam out of there so that Liam didn't get himself in trouble.
Yeah, but no, I was glad that you were the voice of reason on that side. Then you just had me shouting at Lewis on the other side of the ring. And obviously then when he hit Alex with like, it was, I'm sure it was a pile driver, right? Like,
I think so, yeah.
And just seeing Alex just go limp, obviously I just dove into the ring to make sure he was okay. And it took a while for us to get him to come back round. Obviously we got him out of the ring. He is okay, but like, for those who don't know who Alex is so skinny, so he's such a lovely little guy. And, you know, seeing Lewis, who is huge, do that, like, yeah, I genuinely feared for Alex. I really did. And, you know, it was awful. And, you know, we did panic. Luckily, he's okay. But yeah, that wasn't how I was expecting the day to go down.
No, but because of all that drama, we do still have the match at May the 31st, and it has become a no-holds-barred match.
Yes, I am worried.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Like, they're not just both great wrestlers, but they're both very determined fighters.
Yes.
And I'm genuinely not sure whether this match should be happening on Extreme, because I am a little bit concerned.
Yeah, see, this match has been announced for Ignition.
It has.
Ignition is a family-friendly show.
Yeah.
I don't see that match being family-friendly at all.
I'm really hoping that, I mean, usually our crew on show days is pretty similar. We have the same guys that we had at Comic-Con usually do our show days. I would not be surprised if half of them don't want to work that match.
Yes.
But we're really going to need them because the kids are going to need to be kept safe.
Yeah, and let's be fair, they can't rely on just me and you shouting at people. Like, no. They're not going to listen on the 31st at all. They're going to be in a one-track mind of wanting to kill each other.
Yeah.
It's going to be awful. Like, yeah. I am very nervous for this match.
Yeah. And it's one of those that we haven't had any polls go up or predictions for, but I'm not surprised because I genuinely don't think I can decide either. I my heart, I desperately want Liam to win.
Yeah.
Lewis deserves some comeuppance for what he's put everybody through over the last sort of 12 months. But I think Liam is the person to do it out of anyone. Yeah. But Lewis, I don't know. I think he has finally lost it.
Yeah, my only fear with this match is that it's not going to... Sorry, I've got a cat coming in again. My only fear is that this match is not going to end in a way that's, I don't know, safe for both guys. I genuinely fear that it's going to end where it's going to have to be stopped because neither one of them can carry on.
Yeah.
That is my honest theory. I think it's going to end really badly.
Well, fingers crossed it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of other stuff to go on that day. And when we get to Extreme, there's a lot more matches that could go very wrong as well. So
I
keep fingers crossed.
Me and you on that day need like all the energy drinks, all the caffeine, all like we are getting ice cream, right? Me and you deserve ice cream on this day.
Yeah, we're 100% getting that ice cream.
Now, if anybody doesn't know what me and Lauren do on show days, it is me and Lauren literally run around like headless chickens. I say run. Me and Lauren both cannot run. Like, we both have medical conditions that we cannot do what we should be doing. but we try to do it anyway. And yeah, so on the 31st, if you are coming to the show, please just come be nice to me and Lauren, because we're going to need people to be nice.
Monsters are appreciated.
Well, for me, it's coffee or...
Zoom's just giving me a pop-up 1 minute.
Oh, that is not getting edited out. Lauren just went, it's not getting edited out.
When I put my thumbs up, Zoom came up with a pop-up asking me if I wanted to add gestures and things.
Oh,
very
like
confused.
that one time when you did the love heart and it came up with all love hearts, and I'm just like, I don't see any of this. Oh gosh, can you tell we've been doing this for too long, where it's, you know, we just do stupid things now. Back on track. Look at me being trying to be professional, getting it back on track. Yay. So yeah, that is for me probably the biggest match of Ignition.
You say that.
I say that.
We have a huge title match.
We do.
We've got Lycos 2 versus Critchy. And then probably the biggest guy that we have in Ignition is fighting potentially the absolute crowd favourite in RPD.
Yeah.
So we've got Bullet versus RPD, which is a fallout from going back to January now from the Ignition Rumble, where they eliminated each other somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know how RPD managed to get Bullet out the ring. I can't remember that much. There was that much chaos.
Honestly, we're in May now, Lauren. The fact that we can remember what happened kind of at the Ignition Rumble says a lot. Okay, it was in January.
Yeah. I would say Bullet is. I genuinely think Bullet is the biggest guy that we have in Ignition.
Yeah.
I'm saying that, and there's going to be a lot of people, if they see this, are going to shout at me for it because they want to claim that title.
I know one man that might shout at you, and that's Shreddy.
Yeah, but yeah, Bullet seems to have the advantage, you would say.
Yeah.
However, mentally, which I think is where a lot of RPD's strength is, Bullet was the one that was pinned by Critchy to get the briefcase.
Yes.
So he's been pinned by a much smaller guy very recently. And even though RPD hasn't had the best run in TNT since he lost his title back in February last year, but he helped Gareth Kelly beat FTM at the last show. He was a nice little surprise addition for us. So mentally, RPD's kind of going in the stronger, and I do think he's probably, as I say, one of the fan favourites, but also one of the most mentally tough, determined fighters that we have in TNT.
Very true. Very true. RPD is one of those people where he can surprise you at every moment, because no matter who he steps foot in that ring with, he can put on one hell of a match.
Yeah.
And it's such a credit to the man, because, I mean, he's not even been wrestling as that long when you think about it. And
yeah, comparison to some of them.
Yeah, it's scary how good he is for how little time he's actually been doing this.
Yeah, you understand why his moniker is the natural born fighter.
Yes.
Because he proves it every time he steps in the ring.
Oh, definitely, 100%. I mean, the only thing I worry about for this match is one of the previous shows we sort of did, were we seeing a slight alliance between Shreddy and Bullet? And is that going to play a factor into this match? Or, you know, that's what worries me. Like,
yeah,
because we know how good RPD is, we know how good Bullet is. Are we going to get a straightforward one-on-one match?
Yeah.
It's TNT. Probably not.
It's some we do see it quite a lot at TNT, to be fair. Of people getting involved where they shouldn't.
Yes.
And Bullet versus RPD isn't the only match that's potentially worrying. We've got, like, the match I mentioned before, Lycos 2 versus Critchy. Both have... It is going to be a banger. But both have very, very good tag team partners.
They do.
That we know Tom McCall's going to be there because he has a huge match of his own. Yeah. Will he be that bothered about protecting Critchy?
Speaking of Critchy, though, how's his head? After the injury that he suffered at Infinite.
Yeah.
How's that going to play into it?
I have spoken to him a few times since. He seems good. He seems confident. He feels okay in himself. I think the fact that people have said he doesn't deserve that briefcase. A lot of people have said it should have been Kessler's and that Critchy stole it. And I think in his promo, he did say that he wants to prove that he deserves this and he's not just the Scouse loudmouth. And he basically put the challenge out to TNT's boss and said, give me anyone, because I'm bothered about my legacy and the legacy I want to leave in TNT. So I will fight absolutely anybody. And he is a lot of mouth. And he does bark a lot, but he has got the bite to back it up when he puts his mind to it.
He has. It's one of the things about Critchy. I mean, I love to hate that man. I really do. Because, like you said, he is the Scouse loudmouth. He will run his mouth and run his mouth and run his mouth. But one thing I will give him credit for, he will go out and back it up. He doesn't run away from a fight.
But also, as he said in his promo, on show days, regardless of where you are, he is the first in the building.
He is.
And he is the last one to leave. He puts the work in.
He does. And that's massive credit to the man. I mean, like, again, going back to Comic-Con, Critchy turned up to Comic-Con, first one there, last one to go. Couldn't even wrestle on the card because of the injury he suffered at Infinite.
Yeah.
But, he still came. He still was there to, watch the matches, to scout the opponents, and that says a lot about Critchy's character.
And he was sat near us while especially while the FTM versus Temple of Malin match was going on, and you could see the desire in his eyes that he wanted to be in that ring. And I think now he's thrown this sort of gauntlet down to Jay Apter of sort of, give me your best. Like, I will prove my worth. I think he's going to have that bit between his teeth and he will go out and, like I say, it's going to be a clinic. Like, we're saying Critchy puts the work in, but Lycos 2 is
something else.
Like, I that kid has been around. I say kid, he's an adult now, but I've been watching him since he was a kid. And
we call everybody a kid, Lauren. That's just me and you. We feel that old. Everybody is a kid.
Like, I've been watching him for, like, I think 7 or 8 years now.
To get what?
Like, while he should have been still being in school.
Yeah.
And he was out there every weekend getting the reps in. And you can see it when he's in the ring. So, yeah, absolutely fully expecting a complete clinic from them too. It's going to be an incredible match. I don't think the lights above the ring are going to be safe.
Oh, God. We're gonna have more broken lights above Fusion Ring. Yeah.
Hopefully no one's hidden any light tubes in there like Ricky Shane Page did last show.
Not on Ignition, they won't have. We cannot speak for Extreme yet.
Yeah, it's really difficult to pick a match out of this card because everyone that I look at, I'm like, that's going to be the best. No, that's going to be the best. And like we mentioned it before, Tom McCall has got a huge match for him. Like, FTM haven't had a win in TNT as a tag team. They've lost, but they have been in the ring with the likes of Temple of Malin, our current tag team champions. They've been in the ring against Bussy.
Yes.
But they've not had a win. However, I was doing a little bit of research, and McCall actually, in what I think is his only singles match against Najay in November last year, got the win.
Yes, he did.
So he's got that in his corner of sort of knowing, this is why I'm saying, will he be that bothered about Critchy? If he's not won alongside Critchy, yet he's won by himself. He's got one of TNT's first ever champions. And Joe Connors is coming in off a loss. Joe Connors lost his attempt at the Ignition belt.
He did.
So it's going to be a huge,
Joe
huge
Connor
match for Tom.
did say he was willing to work his way back up to that belt, which is admirable for the man. You know, he's not just saying, well, I have name value, I want a shot.
Yeah.
He wants to work through and go the gauntlet, which is great. And it's going to be one hell of a fight for McCall.
But whereas, yes, Joe's not relying on his name value, but for Tom, he's getting in the ring with a veteran of I don't know how many years. He's getting in the ring with ex-NXT UK talent. He's had I don't know how many titles, tag team and singles. Joe might not be relying on his name value, but that has got to play into the mind of Tom McCall. Especially when he's not got Critchy beside him, who's usually, like you say, that mouthpiece that gets him G'd up. And it's going to be a very, very interesting one, that one, because I can see Tom trying to make a name for himself here away from Critchy.
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially going off, like we say, from Critchy getting injured to going into TNT on the 31st, Tom has had a little bit of time to shine by himself. And I'm wondering, is this going to now maybe start throwing a little bit of a spanner into the works of FTM? Is this now going to, you know, is Tom going to say, well, like you said, they've not had a win as a team at TNT. Is Tom now going to be like, well, I can do it?
Yeah. But also, Critchy's got the briefcase. If Critchy doesn't cash that in for a tag title shot, I'm going to take that the wrong way, especially when Tom has got Liam Carr, the third finely tuned machine.
Yeah.
Not like he's going to be left stood on his own if Critchy decides to go into business for himself. We don't know. We don't know what's going on in the mind of these guys. It's definitely going to be a very, very interesting show.
Oh, yeah. Very much so.
We've not even spoken about the heavyweight championship match yet either.
Yeah. That again, all these matches, like I was thinking to myself, I was like, right, we're going to talk about the entire match card. We're going to go through and we're going to easily be able to predict like who we think is going to, not in the slightest.
No.
Like every single match that we have discussed, I'm sat here going, I still don't know who's going to win.
Oh.
And to me, that makes one hell of a good show.
Yeah.
Because we can't then go, oh yeah, well, we think it's going to be him. He's going to win.
Yeah.
And we're calling it. I can't do that right now. Like, at all.
There's pros and cons for everybody. Like, everyone's got reasons for why they're going to step up for this match, and they've all got points to prove and things like that. Like, say, I'm going to leave the heavyweight championship match till last because it will be the main event and it deserves that spot. There's one other match that we haven't discussed, which I don't really want to discuss because I don't really want to talk about one of the people in it. However, we have Chase Alcala and Max Brooker representing the Trail of Dead versus NAJ and Jimmy Jackson.
Yes.
We haven't heard from Jimmy, thankfully. For those of you that don't know, Jimmy decided at the last match to throw himself off the balcony, and my fiance was there to catch him, which he shouldn't have had to be because Jimmy shouldn't have been being so frigging reckless.
Yes.
But my other half has had to have surgery and now won't be coming to TNT because he's not fit and able to. But that's by the by. Jimmy Jackson is Jimmy Jackson. He likes diving off shit. We're going to put that to one side. He's teaming with NAJ. We have heard from NAJ, who feels like Trail of Dead were the ones that cost him the briefcase. And he's out for revenge.
Yeah. Now, Trail of Dead have, let's say, pissed a lot of people off. I was going to try and be family friendly with it, but there's no way of putting it nicely. No. They have pissed a lot of people off, ourselves included. And, you know, I mean, we try and be lovely to absolutely everybody. Like,
let's be honest as well, that is only 2 members of Trail of Dead. The third member is a man we've already discussed in Lewis Johnson.
Yeah.
So For anyone who doesn't know these two, because while Max Brooker was a regular ring crew for TNT for a long time, he's made his name in other promotions, as has Chase Alcala. But most of you watching this will know Lewis Johnson. They are very much similar people in respect to their attitudes. That's all I'm going to say.
It's sad because Max used to be one of the nicest people, and I don't know whether he felt slighted or, you know, whether he thought he wasn't getting enough opportunity or whatever his mindset changed to. But since teaming with Alcala and Lewis, it is just become a different entity and not a very nice man.
No.
Like, I was going to say something, but I'm going to try and keep it slightly more family friendly. But yeah, I mean, like you said, obviously, we're not currently on the best of terms with Jimmy Jackson after what happened to Gav. You know, he was very reckless, shouldn't have done what he did at all. There was no reason for him to have been on that balcony to throw himself off, you know, at all. And
they love, though.
I mean, don't get me wrong. At first, I was like, "Oh my god, yes! Like, this is going to be incredible." And then, obviously, it was the aftermath that kind of ruined it for me and you, because obviously, you know, Gav's obviously really injured his shoulder, had to have surgery. Obviously, that's screwed up a lot of stuff for you guys, which isn't great. But has Jimmy actually spoken to you at all and apologized or anything?
It's not really my place to say.
Okay.
It's between Jimmy and Gav. I'm trying to stay professional. I work with TNT. I have to work with them at multiple promotions. I'm working with Hot Tag Foundation up at Kingdom. He's their champion there. I can't take away from his reputation as a champion and as a wrestler. I'm just not his biggest fan at the minute, so I'd rather say little.
That's completely fair. I mean, it's bad because obviously we love AJ, we want AJ to do well, and couldn't have had a different tag team partner for today. I'm not saying that Jimmy's a bad wrestler, because he's fucking incredible. Oops, I did drop the F-bomb, sorry. Never mind. I only got one. There's only been one. I've done well. But obviously, situations have happened which have caused it to sour slightly. But by the by, you know, this match I do want to call who I think is going to win, and that is AJ and Jimmy, because I just don't want Trail of Dead to do well. They have pissed off so many people. They need their comeuppance.
See, if I take who I want to win out of it, I do genuinely think, I honestly think Trail of Dead will win.
Yeah,
because
I'm going for who I want, not who I. Yeah, that's. Yeah,
I think there's just something. Max Brooker is turning. Even the last time I announced his last OTP title defense, and there was just something different about him then as well.
Yeah,
and he's loved over in Warrington at OTP. Yeah, the attitude just was slightly different. But Chase, there's something. I don't know whether it's that mask or it seems to be a running theme with masks, like Dominic Mysterio when he's flipping. It seems to send them all a bit loopy.
Yeah, I think once a guy gets the masks, or a girl even, like, they just turn into a different entity, and it's a bit weird. Oh, should we get masks? Let's see what happens with us. I mean, to be fair, I have got one somewhere. Like, I could find one.
But yeah, it's that is probably the only match that I think I have an inkling who's going to win, just because I think, not because AJ and Jimmy are bad wrestlers or anything like that. I think they're both very good, and Chase and Max will just, I believe they will do anything to get the win.
Yeah, and not only that, obviously Chase and Max have the team chemistry. They are a team.
Yeah.
AJ and Jimmy aren't.
No.
So, you know, is there going to be a bit of miscommunication between them both, because obviously they both want to shine? Or so I do agree. I think the team that will win would be Trail of Dead, but I don't want that. I want AJ and Jimmy to come out on top.
Yeah.
So I am going to go for AJ and Jimmy on that basis alone.
Yeah. I think with the main event, that's also a very... I don't know who's going to win.
Yeah.
I don't even know who I want to win because
yeah.
I have pluses and minuses for both of them. Like, Kessler has always been a favourite of mine. And then the absolute plant pot decided to align himself with Temple of Malum a few months ago.
I love the insult, the absolute
like don't know what was going on in his brain there. Also MVK. I think MVK's incredible. I love him. There's a lot of people don't. But
myself included, I will be completely honest, not my favourite guy. Like
there's just something about him. My heart says I want Joe to win. As much as he disappointed me coming out and aligning himself with Malum, I think it's about time we had a new champion. MVK only won his last title defense by hitting Joe Connors with the belt.
Yeah.
I think multiple of his title defenses have been nefarious means. Like, yes, he's beaten some of the best. He's beaten Bullet. He's beaten Sonna Durson, who was, I think, was he the first Ignition champion or the longest reigning Ignition champion?
You're asking me as if I remember these statistics. That's your job.
He's beaten the Pain King, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't think any of them have been flat out won by legitimate means. He's always up to.
There's always been something, yeah.
And I think putting the belt, I think Joe taking the belt would. I think he would be a good champion.
Yeah, but could you imagine if Joe does win? Temple of Malum will hold a lot of gold. I don't know how well that would go for TNT.
No, that's true.
Like, could you imagine those three holding gold and then Lana Austin, who has the women's level up briefcase, also then getting gold? Could you just imagine the four of them with gold in TNT? I think the world would implode.
Yeah.
It would, wouldn't it? Like, we're both sat here now realizing what the hell could happen and going, oh shit.
Yeah, possibilities. Because obviously we know we'll talk about it later on, but we are as of May the 31st, we will no longer have a women's Ignition champion. We will have a undisputed TNT women's champion.
Yes.
If Lana took that, oh my goodness,
we'd never hear the end of it.
No,
at all. And
okay, MVK's got to win.
I love how quickly it has changed now. It's just like, yeah, I think Joe's gonna do it. No, MVK's got to do it now. Like, we have literally just sat in sheer horror of the thought of Temple Malum holding like all the gold and just gone, nah, shit, we need to like, come on, MVK. Like, but like you said, like, I as well love Joe, but aligning himself with Temple of Malum has kind of soured that a bit. But you know, he came back from that awful jaw injury. Like, was it? I don't even know if it was just his jaw, but it was literally it was a horrific injury.
Yeah.
That he's come back from, and every match that man has had, he just seems to be getting better and better and better and better.
Yeah.
It is a shame that he's aligned himself with Temple of Malum, but I think they've brought something out of him that he didn't quite have before. And so that for him is good, but for the rest of us, it's just like...
But getting a belt by himself may give him the oomph to believe in himself that little bit more and not rely on Temple of Malum's ways.
True, but are we going to see some interference from the Temple?
Who knows?
This is the thing. We cannot say that Temple of Malum are not going to interject themselves into that match to help Joe bring back the gold.
If they do that, does that mean Joe then repays the favor later on? Temple of Malum have their own big match in the evening.
Exactly. We just do not know. Like, I genuinely think, Lauren, like you said, you've obviously spoken to some of the TNT fan base. You've got some poll results that they've, sent in. So let's hear that. Let's see how they have reacted to any of these matches. We'll throw our winners into those results. And
the only ignition match that I've seen a poll for was the Lycos 2 versus Critchy.
Okay.
By quite a landslide, Critchy had the vote.
Wow, that has shocked me. I genuinely thought that
the TNT fans, as much as they know he's a loudmouth, they believe in the Critch Doggy Dog.
I do think though, giving did Gav just go pew, pew, pew?
Oh no, his best friend. They're listening to sound effects making something, I don't know.
It's just how you did it, and then that happened. I was like, has that been timed? Genuinely thought that had been timed so perfectly well. Yeah, I think people have realized that since Critchy has won the level up briefcase, he is on a whole nother level with himself. Like, his ego has just gone boom.
Yeah.
Even though it was huge to begin with. And, as much as I hate to say it, my money is on Critchy doing it.
Yeah.
It just, as good as Lycos 2 is, it's Critchy.
Yeah, he's got that oomph behind him at the minute.
Yeah. So I can't call a winner for Liam Carr, Lewis Johnson. I can't do it. So that, for me, that match is out of my predictions because I just can't do it.
Yeah. We've already said we think Trail of Dead's going to win. Your heart says NAJ.
My heart says NAJ and Jimmy. But
Trail of Dead.
Yeah.
Bullet versus RPD.
Again, it relies on a lot of factors. Is Bullet going to get some help from Shreddy because they seem to have like become friends and formed a little.
Yeah.
It was just we didn't see a full like acknowledgement of anything, but we just saw that little bit of a look between them.
Sort of.
Yeah, and so I don't know if that's going to play a part, but
I think no interference, it's RPD's, because I think the
interference is RPD. Yeah,
the fans will drive RPD over the edge.
Definitely. But if interference happens, it's probably Bullet. But we're going on a hope of that not happening. So yeah, we're both going with RPD then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also think fans will push Tom McCall over as well. Might be a controversial opinion because Joe Connors is incredible, but I think the fans will just and so push Tom over the edge.
This is where we're going to differ now because I am going to go Joe Connors. I think that man is just that determined to get back to the top spot that he's gonna claw his way back there. He's gonna do whatever it takes to win. And yeah,
there is also, while we're talking about interference and stuff, Joe Connors doesn't often travel alone. Joe Connors has his Bred for Better little stable going on. I say little, it's not little. It consists of him, Brady Phillips, and Riley Nova.
I will say though, sorry, I have to mention this because it made me chuckle. Obviously, when I took the kids to Wales on holiday, there was a wrestling event, and you know what my kids are like. They hear wrestling, they want to go see wrestling. And so obviously we took them along, and I said, obviously to Harley, I was like, oh, it's going to be nice. We're going to see just a bunch of fresh faces, people we've never seen before, people we don't know. Who's the first man that comes out? Joe Connors. I was like, oh, but me being me and being the asshole fan that I am, and you know, he came out, he was getting booed, and it was great for him. And then you just heard my little voice. I say little, we know how loud we both can be, but you just heard me just going, "Bread for better." And he looked utterly disgusted with me until he realized that he went, "Oh no, hang on a minute. Yeah, okay, we're fine. She's just being a knob." But honestly, it was amazing. But you know, yeah, but I think he was traveling alone on that day because there was no, no interference, no, no outside help. But
Yeah,
like you said, it's very, very rare that
you see alone.
those days happen. So could there be a little bit of interference from, as you say, Bread for Better? I'm still picking Joe though. Sorry, Tom. I love Tom so much, and I hate to have like gone against him, but yeah.
Are we going with Joe in the main as well, or
I think Kessler's got it. I genuinely think Kessler has got it. I really do. I think we're going to see a new champion,
I think you're right.
which pains me because I then think, shit, Temple and Malum are going to have so many belts and they're just going to be
Right. If
awful.
Capital, we just move on to the evening and we just start rooting for Mills and Joshua.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll just
yeah.
pick
Got
that.
it. Let's do that. Yeah. Okay, so that is our full card so far for Ignition. Obviously, we never know with TNT. Matches could be announced on the fly. We could get there on the day, and Jay Apter could just go, "Well, here's another match. Have fun." And we're then going, "Well, you've ruined all our prediction show now." Like,
Change for a lot of reasons. So
yeah,
we can't guarantee this will be the card.
yeah,
But with the card that has been drawn up, if you're watching this and you don't have tickets for
yeah,
Ignition All Eyes on Me, I highly suggest that you go and buy them, because this is one card that is genuinely, I think, unmissable. It
yeah.
is a culmination of a lot of issues within TNT. I can see it being the start of a lot of issues going forward. If you are anywhere near Liverpool on Saturday, come down, come and see us. And yeah, it's bring the kids.
Yes, this one is the family-friendly show, so bring the.
Nonsense.
I won't have my children because obviously I will be there all day, including for the Extreme show, which is over 18s only. So I will not have my children there, which they are so annoyed at me about. Like, so annoyed because obviously Alana has seen what match is happening at the Extreme show, as we've already discussed, the unification match for the women's titles.
Yeah.
And as we know, Alana absolutely adores Session Moth and Lucy Sky. She has seen they are both in a match together and has gone, "Mommy, can I go?" And I'm like, "You are not watching a death match. You are 5 years old." So yeah, I won't have my children, but obviously, bring yours for the Ignition show. That's fine, and then find a babysitter. A babysitter for the evening show. So we're going to talk now about Extreme, because Extreme, you might hear more swearing now. I will apologize in advance for the profanity that may happen, but there is a lot of reason that profanity may happen in this. Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a show. But as Lauren says, get your tickets if you haven't already got them for May the 31st for TNT Ignition, All Eyes on Me. Come down, enjoy the show, and just watch just whatever the hell happens, because you can never predict what will happen at a TNT show.